Pussies getting touches at the time and good. I'm a killer, never caught. Diamonds not the same. My shit does up and the liquor, he won't move. Bitches always wanna go on dates.
Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Trinity Jacen back with another video, you know what I'm saying? It's been a while, I know. The content been lacking at us, so I see this every time I upload a video, but yeah, today we are Gospel Mall.
This is the Chucky
We're gonna be in the
production.
gym. It's a couple of my brothers. Not blood brothers, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I get the point. So basically we pick up the camera whenever we warming up or something like that. There. It's the drip though, simple. The girls on the treadmills already, that we like to see. Ah boy. Well, now do a 25 minute running treadmill, you know. I feel like I'm floating now.
Man, so inspirational. Simple. Get out to them guys. Look at that guy work.
I feel like it's copyright there, but why? I can never live the 45, so I go on to 25. Try this man looking.
I'm pushing on 45 and on 25. Sticky.
You trying to flex for cars? Oh man. Today's leg day as well, I could see that, you know what I'm saying? I like legs there, but I'm looking real shaky. That man pushing double my max dog. Outside, man.
There's a quote from one of my English teachers at Lower Marion named Mr. Fisk. He had a great quote that said, "Rest at the end, not in the middle." And that's something I always live by. You know, I'm not going to rest. I'm going to keep on pushing now. There are a lot of answers that I don't have, even questions that I don't have. But I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going, and I'll figure these things out as we go, right? And you just continue to build that way. So I try to live by that all the time. I had a purpose. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play. And anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for.
At what age did that goal become crystal clear?
I made that deal with myself at 13 years old.
At 13 years old?
13 years old. That's the deal I made.
Clear about it.
Crystal clear.
And where did inspiration come from?
The love of the game.
I died anyway too.
The love of the game. The challenge. Like I would watch Magic play. I'd watch Michael play. And I would see them do these unbelievable things. And I'd say, you know, can I get to that level? I don't know, but let's find out. Let's find out. You know, I had a summer where I played basketball when I was like 10, 11 years old. And here I come playing, and I don't score 1 point the entire summer. I remember crying about it, being upset about it. My father just gave me a hug and said, listen, whether you score 0 or score 60, I'm going to love you no matter what.
Wow.
Now, that is the most important thing that you can say to a child. Because from there, I was like, okay, it gives me all the confidence in the world to fail. But
yeah, boy. I got max out of working on still, but I'm trying my best.
to hell with that, I'm scoring 60. From there, I just went to work. I stayed with it. I kept practicing. I think that's when the idea of understanding a long-term view became important, because I wasn't going to catch these kids in a week. I wasn't going to catch them in a year, right? So that's when I sat down and said, okay, this is going to take some thought, all right? What do I want to work on first? All right, shooting. All right, let's knock this out. Let's focus on this. Half a year, 6 months, do nothing but shoot. When I came back the next summer, I was a little bit better. I scored.
Yeah,
you know, it wasn't much,
right,
but I scored. 12, 13. And then 14 came around, back half of 13, 14 years old, and then I was just killing everyone. What I had to do was work on the basics and the fundamentals. But they relied on their athleticism and their natural ability. And because I stick to the fundamentals, it just caught up to me. And then my body, you know, my knees stopped hurting. I grew into my frame.
Work on, lads, work on, come on.
Now, were you always competitive?
Competitive with things that I participate in. So I'll put it to you this way. So like, you know, basketball for me was the most important thing. So everything I saw, whether it was TV shows, whether it was books I read, people I talked to, everything was done to try to learn how to become a better basketball player. Everything. So to have that point of view.
Need 15 subscribers on this video. 500 question mark.
Then literally the world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft. So at 13 years old, I had a kill list. And so, you know, they used to do these rankings. It was Street and Smith basketball rankings. And I was nowhere to be found because I was like 6'4", scrawny, like 160 pounds soaking wet. So I was like 57 on the list. And so I would look at 56, 55, all the way up to number 1, who these players are. I got to hunt them down, right? And so that became my mission in high school, is to check off every other person, all those 56 other names, hunt them down and knock them down. So I would size you up and see what your strengths and weaknesses are. How do you approach the game? Are you silly about it? Are you goofy about it? Are you good at it just because you're bigger and stronger than everybody else, right? Or is there actually thought and skill that you put into it, right? And when I'd play to my weaknesses.
Wait, boy, I miss some of the workouts, fellas, but yeah, I get into the mood. I started get sticky, but I was trying to remember to pick up the camera, you know?
I always work on the things during those games that I was weak at. Left hand, pull-up jump shot, post game, right? So I have a strategy. Yeah.
What was really your work ethic like, and for how long did you stay disciplined?
I mean, every day. I mean, since 20 years. It was an everyday process, and trying to figure out strengths and weaknesses. For example, jumping ability. Now, my vertical was a 40, it wasn't a 46 or a 45. My hands are big, but they're not massive, right? So you got to figure out ways to strengthen them so your hands are strong enough to be able to palm a ball and do the things that you need to do. Quickness, I was quick, but not insanely quick. I was fast, but not ridiculously fast, right? So I had to rely on skill a lot more. I had to rely on angles a lot more. I had to study the game a lot more. And but I enjoyed it though. So like from the time I can remember when I started watching the game, I studied the game, and it just never changed.
Well, what does losing feel like to you?
It's exciting because it means you have different ways to get better. There's certain.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
That you can figure out, that you can take advantage of, right? Certain weaknesses that were exposed that you need to shore up. But the hardest thing is to face that stuff. You got to look at the reality of the situation. Like, you kind of got to get over it, right?
Nah, I see poor Andrew that
Why did those air balls happen? Got it. I didn't have the legs. So I look at it with rationale and say, okay, well, the reason why I shot air balls is because my legs aren't there. I go, well, next year they'll be there.
I forget to pick out the camera again though, but basically doing cool after we did.
Study that game.
I mean, before we did shoulders and legs, I mean doing cool now.
Gotta deal with it. Face it. You don't want to have that feeling again, do you? Right? So you got to really study it, face it. And not to say you'll win the next time you face it, but at least you'll give yourself a better chance.
Yeah.
It's an obsessiveness that comes along with it. You want things to be as perfect as they can be, understanding that nothing is ever perfect. But the challenge is try to get them as perfect as they can be. And what can you do? It's in your control. So control what you can.
I don't know if that's what you call the Mamba mindset, but how did you develop that? And when did it start?